0.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose, Friday, December 15th, 5 p.m. Central something time, Central Chicago time. The year is 2023.
Very
wow,
good.
I look pretty good today. It's these glasses.
You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, radiozero.us. We're live streaming on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJC USA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel. Yet another 5 p.m. every other Friday, Central Time, I believe. I don't know. What is that? A two-week run now at this time? 4-week run, I guess. You can patronize us at patreon.com/Radio Zero. Thanks to everybody who is supporting us through Patreon.
Cody's given us the sign of the devil. Is that the sign of the rock and roll devil? Thanks, Cody. Same to you. Rock and roll. Do you ever okay, well I'll just start right in on the whole rock star thing.
Oh.
Do you, somebody called somebody else a rock star just recently, and actually, I'm eating my candies from Circles, not a sponsor but a sponsor. I'm sure Danelle is not listening to this, but she wrote that I'm a rock star, but I think that's okay. I remember how, like, it was a couple of years ago, I would get offended when somebody would call somebody a rock star, or especially me. Like, that's an offensive thing if somebody calls you a rock star, especially if you're a punk rocker. That's the whole idea of punk rock, is that it's against being a rock star. It's against, like, putting yourself up on a pedestal, right?
Tell Kurt Cobain that.
Well, I can't because he's dead.
Rock star,
yeah. No, he would have agreed, right? He would have totally. That's why he's dead. That's why he killed himself. Too much responsibility, right? Sure. That's
so it's about responsibility. So being punk rock and anti-rock star is about avoiding responsibility.
That's right. I don't know. You turned my words around. But the thing, like when somebody calls you rock star, that's one of those things. That's one of those things that people just don't understand, right? You don't want to be a rock star. That's not a good thing to be. That's, right?
Well, I think it's devalued.
I don't even think it's devalued, though.
Because,
like,
and we've talked about this. I think you can go back maybe 5 or 6 years when we talked about, I think it was happening at the school, where the grade school, where kids were being called rock stars.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I know. It's a what do we call it? A rerun. Okay, we don't.
No. But I mean, somebody did say to me, "Oh yeah, it was like a student was like, it's so cool that my professor is also a rock star," and I'm like, I'm not a rock star. I'm a guy in a band.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess the thing is if somebody said to you, "It's so cool, you're in a band." That doesn't sound cool either.
No,
right?
No, none of this sounds cool at all. None of it sounds cool.
It's just like,
it's just because we were in it.
My professor's in a band, and you tell anyone that, and they go, "Wow, that's cool. That's really cool."
Yeah, well, then
my great uncle's in a band too.
Yeah. And then, so my neighbor's kid is in a band. Yeah, they play, and then that's the same as the martial arts thing, though, too. That's the same thing. Like I've said, like, I've been in public before and said something like, oh yeah, well, I do martial arts, and oh yeah, my kid does that too.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a black belt.
Yeah, it's difficult to be an elitist, and
I'm not.
It's not,
you know what it is?
when
It's difficult to be. It's difficult to. It's
when
just
these labels, your elitist labels,
like
get
feminist.
co-opted.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we are elitists.
No, I'm not a rock star, but I am an elitist. I'm a punk rocker. I'm judgmental, and I'm very cool.
Yeah.
but calling me a rock star is offensive in so many ways.
There's always like right at 5:00, I guess people get off work and then they start texting you. So like all this like stuff is going on in my phone, which I'm going to ignore now. All right. So what do you? I had all kinds of stuff. I know. Yeah.
He thanks you.
I don't think he's still there. Okay. Cody is saying it's cooler to be in a band than not to be in a band.
That's true.
You know what? I don't think that's true. I'll come up with some examples.
It depends on the band. Let me tell you right now, it depends on the band.
But
you're in a band?
This is just one of those things.
My dad's in a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band.
Right, exactly. That's cool.
The Red Hot Chili Elders.
Okay.
Boy, I put a kibosh.
Okay, let's start again, shall we?
All right.
So what's new in what Rick is watching news? What have you tell us about?
Wow, you want to open with that?
No, okay. All right, what do you got? What do you got on your list? There was something that we had a fight earlier this week. We could talk about that.
I'd rather not.
Okay. What do you got?
And just because you defined it as a fight, I think that's already a problem.
Okay.
All right.
That a discussion.
We could start out with the deaths, the rampant death.
Okay.
Rampant deaths.
So
we could go through
in
the
Gaza
deaths.
or
no?
Okay, just the rampant deaths here.
And then we can move into that.
You suck. Cody says you suck. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. And Andy Lester saying, why is rock star offensive? What does it say to you? Is it the assumption of what you did to be a rock star? I had to suck many cocks to be where I am now. Many cocks were sucked. It's rock star is offensive because the whole idea of punk rock, at least in my opinion, is you do it yourself. Anybody can do it. It's it's self-expression. I learned that word because I'm reading hip hop. I'm not reading hip hop books, but they're on my desk.
You're looking at hip hop books.
I'm looking at them
That's
and wishing I could read them. Yeah, I'm looking.
You can brag about it without actually
looking at a lot of hip hop books lately, and so punk rock is self-expression. Yeah. It's not putting yourself up on a pedestal. So when somebody calls you a rock star, that's like the opposite of what you want, kind of.
And for me, it's just that I don't. If I was a rock star, I wouldn't be a. I wouldn't be a college professor. I'd have lots of money if I was a rock star.
Yeah.
Also.
And for Rick, it's just he's falsely humble.
It's not falsely humble. I mean,
I'm humble.
To me, you can't call yourself a rock star if like somebody's, grandmother doesn't know your name.
That's true. And even our grandmothers wouldn't have known our names too. Like, yeah. I don't know. I think rock. My back 5 years ago when I was upset about it, I was like, also rock. Calling somebody a rock star. I mean, I guess I am an elitist because to be a rock star, maybe you just have to play guitar and look pretty, or be in the right place at the right time. Whereas people who are like kids in high school who are beating their heads against the wall trying to learn math, and then they've overcome, they've accomplished, they've been spending so much time learning math, and maybe it's a girl and so she's predestined to not be good at math after 4th grade, and then all of a sudden somebody goes, you know what, you're a rock star.
You're telling me
to me that's like rock star is like a lucky thing that happens. Go on.
You're saying that someone like Sir Michael Jagger or Sir Paul McCartney, they didn't work hard.
Wait, was his name really Michael instead of Mick?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's still alive.
That's what I'm saying.
So
because I'm an elitist musician.
Not in the past tense.
Okay.
Not dead yet.
Well, I mean, his name was Michael, and they call him Mick now. Where were we? We were talking about deaths?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Rock star deaths. No.
What?
I'll go through the list.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
We got your Ryan O'Neal.
Oh my God, that's what happened. We had a fight, but also Ryan O'Neal. I saw that. Okay, so here Cody B is saying this asshole doctor I used to work with. There's a lot to unpack there, even in the first 6 words of the sentence. 7 would always say, "Hey, rock star," every time he saw me. Always hated that guy. See, You're right. Yeah, yeah. Hey, rock star. I'm
I
an
mean, maybe
asshole
part of the
doctor.
problem was because you called him an asshole doctor as opposed to a proctologist.
Yeah, and Andy, you're right. Rock star does not imply you're not doing your own thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's go on to the deaths.
Well, it does to you.
Who's the next death?
Norman Lear. Oh,
Oh, yeah. Is that why I heard the the sweet voices? I'm trying to think of the word that comes before voices. The dulcet tones of All in the Family.
Carol
O'Connor in the, on my radio one morning.
Man with a woman's name.
Yeah. Norman Lear. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
Steve Dahl and Gary Meyer used to always say deaths came in threes, or was it Rokan and Gary Meyer?
Everybody says that.
Okay.
It's
All right.
the rule of threes for everything.
We're still fighting, Cody says. We're not. This is not what it looks like. It's not tense when we're fighting. It's not tense.
I just want to say Norman Lear. They talk about, well, the TV show thing. The thing that bothers me a little bit is like all of his. Like a lot of his successful shows, like All in the Family, they were all remakes of British. Well, I guess not. Just two of them, right? So All in the Family and Sanford and Son were both British sitcoms that
Good thing they stopped doing that.
they officed the original Office. They converted into an American. But it was great, and the thing is I wasn't able to post this. There's a great movie that Norman Lear wrote and directed called Cold Turkey, which I think I've talked about because actually, speaking of asshole doctors, that Cold Turkey. Last time I watched Cold Turkey was when I was prepping for my colonoscopy. So
it was just recently.
I had the laptop in the bathroom, and I watched all of Cold Turkey.
So tell us a little bit, remind us about Cold Turkey. That was the
It's from 1970, so it must have been right about the time. Well, I think it's probably
a good segue too, actually.
the movie. He was probably working on it while he was trying to get All in the Family. So All in the Family notoriously went through three pilots, so 3 years of development, right? It kept getting rejected, and then I think by CBS or something like that. So around that same period of time, right before All in the Family finally made it onto TV, he made a movie. He directed and wrote Cold Turkey, which is about cigarette companies sort of trying to battle negative publicity about smoking, and so they run a contest to any town that can quit smoking for 30 days gets $100,000. I can't remember. It's 1970s money, but it was a lot of money. The town would get the money, and it's all about how the town falls apart. And it's funny because it's also all this evil corporate stuff, which is really relevant. It's a movie from 1970, and it's just like, oh my God. Every time I watch it, it's just like, the cigarette companies are running this campaign to get everyone to quit smoking in order to promote smoking, right? Is to help, to help increase cigarette sales, I believe, is the idea. I've already forgotten. And Bob Newhart is the evil ad man kind of guy who thinks this all up, which is ironic because that's what Bob Newhart was an ad man in Chicago before he was a comedian, or while he was, early days, but this was much later. But anyways, it's a fun movie with Dick Van Dyke. And I believe it's the first movie with a Randy Newman score, but it's Randy Newman's songs. Oh, no, I think he does other music too. And it's got right-wing lunatics like John Birch Society types, which is totally relevant now. In fact, it's more relevant than when maybe 20 or 30 years ago.
More poignant. Could do with a remake, right?
Yeah, I don't know what you would do to...
Who would you cast?
And it wouldn't be smoking. I don't know what it would be.
It could be smoking.
It could be smoking.
Everything like the All in the Family is still kind of relevant too, right?
Yeah, and it's that cycle, I guess.
Yeah.
Is watching it now, you realize it kind of... But it's also like, things haven't changed that much, and it's like, all of this kind of critique of the corporate world and advertising and media... there's a movie from 1970 that does all that, Anyways,
There are plenty of those. Yeah. That was big in the 1970s. So we segue from smoking into the smoke, what was it called? What was that movie called?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
smoking movie. The
They-
movie you were just talking about a second
Cold
ago.
Turkey.
Cold Turkey. We
Right.
segue from that into The Third Death,
Oh yeah, Andre Braugher. Yeah.
which I like. I don't know what I was doing. I was working or something, and then like my watch, I've got one of those picture watches, and like my watch goes zzz, so I gotta look. Oh, is somebody texting me? And I look, and there's a picture. Like the picture fades. Like you get that blurry picture, and you're like, oh, what is it? You got to wait for it to come in. I'm like, oh no, who is it? And then it comes in, and it's Andre Braugher, the Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he's clear on my watch, and I'm like, oh no.
And the reason why you're making the connection is because apparently he died of lung cancer, and then finding out that he had quit smoking quite a while ago. And what was it? Yesterday, I learned that they have a kind of thing called pack years.
It was PACK,
Yeah,
as in
PACK.
smoking pack, and then years as in, I don't know, like years.
So apparently they kind of calculate with people how many pack years they've had in their life. So the idea of a pack year is basically a pack year is the equivalent of smoking a pack a day for a year. And so somebody who had smoked 2 packs a day, they would have, for 10 years, they would have 20 pack years in
their lungs.
Yeah, and
right,
so apparently Andre Braugher, that was the shock, is that he had quit smoking apparently quite a while ago, but still had a lot of pack years in, and that's it's unfortunate, because I think that a lot of the and in fact talking about cold turkey, a lot of the narrative is that you could quit smoking. Right. And it is better if you quit smoking and don't smoke more. Right. It does help improve your life expectancy, but it's not a cure all. And I do remember hearing things like, your lungs can heal and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and then thinking about, is that also part of, it's just like the vaping kind of campaign where, this is healthier for you. Because it's not smoking, and it's like, no, it's just, and that's that woman once who came to talk about, the expert who came to talk about toxins in the art building, right?
Right.
Like this expert, and she was like, the stuff like the low VOC paint and everything. The only difference between that stuff and the stuff that's bad for you is that stuff they just haven't banned, and done enough research on the chemicals that are in that right now. So it's just, her thing is that, like, just because something doesn't have the like BPA or whatever, like talking about plastics and stuff, and it's like
BPA free or whatever free, parabens free.
Yeah, and so you're using
parabens.
this different type of plastic bottle, and she was like, it's just because they haven't done the long-term,
So it's okay. Just
study on
keep
it.
using all of the different. It's just use the
What she was
paint.
saying is that what can happen is you've got this cycle of toxicity where it's basically you're just the companies, the regulation happens, it bans a chemical or additive or toxic recreational inhalant with smoking, right? They and then they jump and then they change it to something else, put on a new chemical, kind of product, plastic product, and then 20 or 30 years later, after the
that
research
was
is
bad
done,
for you.
that's bad too.
Yeah.
And then it's just jumping from one bad thing to the next.
So,
Anyways,
Cody is saying amazing actor Andre Braugher on Homicide: Life on the Street is one of the best characters ever on TV. Rest in power. R.I.P. I don't know if you meant rest in peace or rest in power, but man, and I never even saw that. I just knew him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm like that was such a rich character. Like I love that show. We've been watching it too. That's what's so weird, right? We have the DVDs in the house that we got from the library, right? We've been watching it. We're not watching it because he died.
well,
he died.
The
while we're
youngest,
watching it.
the youngest has been going through them, and then when our free Peacock access was wrested away from us.
Oh, is that why we're not? Wait, is that why we're not watching Star Trek anymore?
No.
Oh.
Well,
can we still watch Star Trek?
Well, Star Trek, is on.
Oh,
on
okay.
the other free.
Oh, okay.
Like
But Peacock, that's right. Peacock had Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Sorry.
Yeah. But so he had been working his way through those, and then,
But
Peacock sort of cut everybody off who was getting free stuff. I think we got it from our old internet
So
plan, which we had jumped ship 3 years ago, pre-COVID, I think, and we were cruising on this free Peacock content, and then that access, and then they took it away. So now we had to go back, like peasants had to go to the library and get DVDs out, Blu-rays.
The library's new too. It looks nice.
Yeah, the library's great. And what happened last week is that I returned the previous season. What would it have been? I think we were up to season 6. I think we're on season 7. Oh no,
we're on the pregnancy season.
Yeah, and then
boring.
And then I got a message from the library that said parts of this return are missing. If you don't bring it back within a week, we're going to fine you. And I realized I had left one of the discs in the DVD player, and then I went there and dropped it off, and the librarians were like, "This never happens." And it was
I'm sure you were very proud of yourself.
It was funny. Yeah.
You know what, Rick? You're a rock star.
That's right. They were giving me a hard time, and I was like, you know what? I don't think so. I got a form letter about this. I think this happens every day.
Oh no! What they were saying that doesn't happen is that you don't.
They were
don't
joking.
Return
no,
it.
they were.
Yeah.
They were making fun of me that I had done this and trying to make me think that it was an unusual thing. Whereas I think half of their job is opening up these cases
and
of returned movies and finding them empty, and then they have to send out an email.
Oh, I thought they were saying that it never happens that people return the stuff, but in this town, probably everybody does. But anyway, okay, so yeah, our kid would have been. So I was gonna, give a little parenting advice. Let your young children watch TV shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that movie. If you want them to know about what gay characters are, because it's not like they're known as gay in the, they're gay, but I don't know, it's I don't know how to say it. It's not, it doesn't seem like a defining thing in their.
I mean, yeah, and we can tie this back to Norman Lear. So that was the thing, is that I mean, and this is always the debate, right? Is and that's why conservative or crazy people have problems with diversity on television and everything like that, is because it is a powerful thing to see people who are like you or people who are not, right?
Just having normal lives. Is that what you're going to say?
Having normal lives, but also just being on your TV, right?
Yeah.
And so,
representation.
Yeah, and it's a very powerful thing and very effective. That's why, people protested All in the Family and probably protested Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and actually protested Brooklyn Nine-Nine from both directions. So after George Floyd, the propaganda thing, and so and then them having to deal with that, and it's true. It's like a Barney Miller Brooklyn Nine kind of police comedy. It's a little difficult to swallow sometimes when there's evidence that it's not all fun and games, and the problem is that that's true too. It's offices aren't always these crazy wacky environments with these crazy characters, but most office workers aren't also potentially have people's lives in their hands or possibly killing people, right? So that's why it's all very important. But anyways, so that was the thing about the Norman Lear era there was lots of representation going on, but again, people in some cases criticized it, right, and had problems with it,
I mean, watching
including the actors on some of the shows which were I'm not sure if the representation that's going on here is exactly the representation. It's a mixed blessing, let's just say.
I'm just going to say, if you haven't watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the 3 people who are watching this, go watch it. But the way that the characters, the way that the Jake Peralta character, Andy Sandberg, and Melissa Fumero, is that her name?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Anyways.
The way they're like he's our, it's like Andre Brower's character is like a dad to them that they like they never had or something, like especially Jake Peralta. It's just like in awe of him. They want him to love them. They want to look good in front of him. They want him to respect them and stuff like that, and then there's just like there are times when Captain Holt does, I don't know, something wacky or something, and the Andy Samberg just makes this face like, it's like, oh, he said this and stuff like that. I can't get enough of that. I just love it.
And I want to jump. I this is a big jump and take us away from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but talking about representation and everything like that. I'm reading Sly Stone's memoir, and him talking about the most interesting parts about, well, there's a lot of, sort of music nerd stuff that's interesting, but him also talking about the fact that Sly and the Family Stone was, a very diverse band, right? Black, white, male, female, and kind of was of that era, right? That representation. But him talking about the conflicts he had with, record labels, but then also with like the Black Panther Party, and it's like, oh, you got to be more this, and you got to be more political. And then him talking about like being on the Mike Douglas show with Muhammad Ali, and how him and Muhammad Ali had a really good sort of personal relationship, and were able to get along. But then like when they were on this one Mike Douglas show, like Muhammad Ali was really, pretty adamant about how like Sly Stone was a little more about, togetherness and, positivity, right? That was his kind of thing. And dancing and, music as a way of uniting, which is a lot of stuff I believe in, right? It's that real powerful thing. But he, would also, be a little, he definitely would not play the fool, but be a little more jokey and lighthearted about stuff. And then Muhammad Ali was just like, we can't make light of anything, when my brothers are suffering, right? It's like, we're two rich men and we can't, and that conflict and all that. And I'm trying to think of what, so it goes back to the kind of propaganda stuff and the representation stuff and everything like that. Is that constant struggle is like how to represent, and then also the expectations when you do become this rock star or this focus, right, or this popular cultural phenomenon, and getting torn kind of back and forth, where it's like, oh, we want you to, we want you to be representative, right? But then it's also like, oh, but you're not doing enough, right? You're not representing enough, or you're not being activist enough. And then the other side is like, you're a radical here. Like, why are you on my TV, right? Kind of thing, right? Why am I hearing about this? Why are you talking about politics? You're an actor. You're a musician, and so all those conflicts. It's, I think, well, the thing is that it's evidence of how powerful, right, the media actually is. And when people say, oh, it's just super important.
I mean, all these things, like what you made me think of. This is a completely different jump too, and it's not anything I really want to talk about. But like just not being, riding that bicycle in between, like doing too much and doing too little of something. Like I just giving speeches and writing thank you notes and stuff to people, to large groups of people just lately, and I was just thinking that, like, should I write more? Should I do more representation? Or should I, like that, just finding that balance between, if you give too much representation or you give too much information, then you've missed some other information, and then people get mad, stuff like that.
So, and now, I think it's a good time to jump into this, which is the whole academia and politics thing. So we've been, we're...
Oh, my fucking God. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a while since this happened, but I don't think we've had a show since then. But the whole hearing, and with the college presidents not answering yes or no questions about anti-Semitism, but also, and it's like, oh yeah, you probably should answer, say, yeah, we're against anti-Semitism, but the problem is that it's an all too familiar scenario where it was also a trap, right? What this congressperson was doing, which is like, answer me this, yes or no, does your code of conduct forbid this? And then if they all said yes, then the next question would be, well, then why did you not do this? Why didn't you do this? And it was it's a rhetorical, or it's a setup and a trap in order to start tumbling into all of these, kind of like, what about this? What about that? What about this? Right? And so it's kind of like, because the other side of it is like, why did you not, why did you not ban this person from campus, but you banned this Nazi from campus, right? Also, or not Nazi, because they wouldn't have been in that situation, but this conservative monster, or election denier or something like that, why did you ban them from campus and didn't ban this person who said, something like this? And it would just tumble into that. But I think the deeper problem is, and we were talking about this as two professors, is just the idea of like, the university and academia is becoming too political. It shouldn't be politicized. We should be about education and enrichment and not about politics. And the thing is that if this was 1968, right, and we were talking about Vietnam and talking about radicalization of students, the free speech movement, Berkeley free speech, in the mid to late 60s, right? All of those kind of things, yeah. That type of politicization on campus. But I think the politicization that's coming these days, and I'm not just talking, having people protest, right, on campus.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's just the same as protesting anywhere else, on the planet. Not on the planet, but, out in front of a company, a corporate headquarters, protesting there, or protesting on a city street, right? It's like, these are community spaces, right? And people protest in community spaces. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more about the fact that, the university experience or academia has been politicized. And I think the only reason why it's been politicized is because of this right-wing 40-year campaign to destroy.
Of course it has. Yeah.
Public higher education.
And why do they want to destroy public higher education?
Because they don't want to pay for poor kids. And by poor kids, I mean anyone who's not, a rich kid, right? They don't want to pay for their education. That's
they also don't want.
that.
Is it part of it that they don't want us to be? They don't want people to be smart either, because
I think
the smarter people are, the more they vote Democrat.
Part of it is that, but really, honestly, it's like, why the hell I'm paying, an arm and a leg of my well-earned money to send my kids to Harvard, and then it's like, and then I'm still paying taxes, and I got to send my housekeeper's kid to college too, and on top of it, all these kids in these colleges, they get radicalized, they start questioning things, they start, it's like, why should I finance that? They should be, if you want a radical, left-wing, beehive set up, fund it with private money. Don't fund it with my money and with my taxes. It's just that's what it's about. So, but the thing is this is what's happened with this kind of conservative war, is that their intent is, I don't want to freaking pay for this, right? Right? I don't want to pay your taxes. I don't want to keep you from being homeless, houseless. I don't want to pay for you going to college. I don't want to pay you to go to grade school, pay for you to go to grade school. I don't want to pay for these kids in the city to go to grade school.
Last week we were talking about the Atom Ruins Everything. Oops, wait a minute.
But anyways, it's and so the idea is I don't want to pay for this, and then in order to destroy these institutions, you can't destroy them directly by saying, you know what, I don't want to pay for this, and I don't want to
close it down.
You shut it down. Yeah, I'm not going to.
You can't. They can't.
Let's
do that.
get rid of Social Security. No, it's like you got to destroy it, and so they destroy it by saying these are hives of unrest and political correctness, or cancel culture, and destroying it. And then the problem is that whenever they use these sort of fear mongering social warfare methods, right? It starts affecting at some point the chickens come home to roost, and then it starts affecting everything. So then it's like, oh, you know what? These monsters that we've enabled with these ideas are now attacking
the radicalized
Harvard.
Yeah.
So you've got a Harvard graduate who wants to destroy Harvard because it's a radical hive, and it's like,
it's
wait a
changed
minute.
now.
Yeah. And it's like, oh shit, wait a
say?
minute.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
discussing political
You don't
things.
understand. No. I was complaining about higher education because I didn't want to pay for other people's, I didn't want to support and underwrite through my taxes, public higher education. I didn't mean to destroy Harvard too. Wait a minute, It's like, don't destroy my Harvard. Or even worse is these fucking billionaires, like I can't remember his name, and I don't think he's a right-winger. He's just super pissed off that the current president didn't listen to him about some of his ideas about how to do COVID testing on campus. He's a donor, but he's not, like what's his name? Son-in-law Kushner. He's not like a Kushner level donor or whatever, but he's a Harvard grad, but he's super pissed off that the president's not listening to him with all of his crackpot ideas on how she should be running the university, Harvard, and it's like, and so now he's working along with conservative nut jobs to undermine that administration, because it's like, you're not listening to me. I'm a billionaire and I'm smart, and I want you to do this to Harvard, and it's like, if you don't listen to me, fuck you. I'm gonna do what rich men have always done, which is I'm gonna undermine you. I'm gonna use my power to undermine you and destroy you and get my way, right?
So the CNN commentator, like I don't have CNN, I don't watch CNN, but we were sent a CNN commentator like talking about how institutions of higher ed are now just radicalization centers, right? And then and he had said, like, somewhere inside in the rant was breaking my brain, and then somewhere in it he was like, they're discussing political issues like critical race theory or something. It was something like that, political issues, like something that was not political at all. I mean, it's something that wasn't political at all. It was just like, what?
And that's what happens.
Are you even listening to yourself?
And that's what's even worse. Yeah, and I've talked about this, complained about this before, is when you've got actual people in academia now and people who I think are progressives who are actually regurgitating these kind of conservative talking points as truth, which is like, we need to teach, we need to, like business people. It's like, what we want, it's like, these universities are radical hives, and we don't want that. What we want is, the university to train, to give us people who are able to, be decision makers and be able to, problem solve and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you know what? That's what we're doing. And you're saying that we're not providing and creating those type of people that business needs. And it's like being, condemned by these kind of conservative business types, and then them turning around and saying, well, we want college educated people, right? And it's like, the problem is that when you freaking give somebody, the toolkit to start critiquing and analyzing, and not just saying yes, no, right, wrong, gay, straight, blah, blah, it's like, Christian, not,
yeah.
And it's like, that's not, I mean, I just
I've got a couple of, we've got a couple of, Cody a little while ago said, have you ever seen Summer of Soul? great documentary.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Rick has.
Yeah.
Andy,
And so
what-
Questlove. So the Sly Stone book is on Questlove's. What is it called? Publishing house or whatever. He's got a the equivalent. What's the equivalent of a record label in a book publishing? Yeah. He's got a publishing arm now.
Yeah, okay,
and the Sly Stone book is through that.
And then Andy says part of it is they don't want to pay for education that isn't right-wing religious.
Yeah.
So there's some of them. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But I think it's just more of a core thing. It's like, they believe in the elite, and if you've already got an elite system of education, then shaving off some of your money to have, the peons, get an education, that's not right, in their mind.
Right, and that's the thing that I'm going back to the guest on the Adam Ruins Everything said, that these people believe in elites, and they believe that not everybody should vote. They believe that some people should rule over others. That's it. There are peons and non-peons.
And so if you think about the Koch brothers, it's like, giving money to public television and operas, opera and orchestras, right? And so that's like sissy stuff, but then also wanting to remove any kind of public funding and taxes, of any kind of social programs or education and everything like that. And so you've got these people who believe and have financed this campaign against public education, right, and public support of things, but they used all this stuff about Christianity and radicalism on campus, but they were just using that to destroy public higher education. And now those people, they've given the weapons and financed the talking points and the sort of building up of this collection of weapons to destroy, public higher education, and it's bled over into just all of higher education, right? Their elites are going to get destroyed by these sort of talking points that they helped finance and develop over the past 40 years.
My computer's really choppy here. Are we being throttled?
Don't burn down Harvard. You burn down the University of Illinois is the kind of thing. It's like, whoa, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So you're saying it's your computer's choppy, or is it saying
mine?
That the
and then it said.
Yeah, it does say
are we
that
getting throttled?
Yeah, it's possible that somebody with their new computer
being
is
too radical.
So I'm gonna shift over for the last few minutes. I used to do this. Part of the problem is, right, is the kid. Oh no, he is usually here. You talk while I can't do both of these things at the same time. So is there something you can talk about while I try to do this?
I'm gonna
instead
make a
of
white
trying to
bean
fill
recipe
empty space
today. Here's my white bean recipe, everybody.
See, I just need to be able to find this computer in my devices.
I can talk about my boobs.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, 3 years. I had to go to the cancer. So you can tell if you have lead poisoning, and I talked to him about Munchausen syndrome because I had not ever heard. It says waiting for live video signal. Are we still taping anyway?
Well, we're still taping.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Munchausen, I learned about. Yeah, Cody says we're getting jammed. I learned about Munchausen syndrome. I didn't know that because they don't have that in Star Wars. Like all I watch on TV is Star Wars, and had I been watching CSI or whatever normal people watch that don't watch every Star Wars cartoon, then I would know what that is. But that's people who are hurting themselves on purpose to get attention. But back to Star Wars, I've watched all of Rebels now, and I am watching Tales of the Jedi, and it's really nice. I really like it. You get to see Ahsoka's birth. And when she's born, like a year into her birth, she has to go on a hunt with her mom, and a big animal comes and takes her away, and she comes back. A spoiler alert: she comes back riding the animal. What were you going to
Nice.
say?
Oh, I think I got it. I think
Thank you.
we're probably.
Yeah,
I
I built-
need to. You know what? I need to put it on my checklist is to give this device, the podcasting device, priority, so that
Oh, on
if
the
somebody
internet?
is playing race car murder at 120 frames per second.